Hello viewers, I am Major General Neelendra Kumar talking to General VN Sharma, Indian Army's 14th Army Chief, and my question to him for the playlist Lex Consilium Foundation is that you had earlier brought out about the 71 war. Now going back in timeline to the 65 war, where were you when 65 war took place, and what is your own participation in that war?
I was a major. I had been posted in 19 Div as the G2 operations of the 19 Division in Baramulla, Kashmir, where I had served for about 2.5 years, and I was sent to UK on a course in January 1965. That course was an all-arms battle group course at the infantry school Warminster in UK. I finished that in early March 1965 and came back to India. I was told to report to the Chief of Army Staff's office. I thought that with this knowledge that I had gained about tactics at a squadron or company of infantry or a battery of gunners, which I had learnt in the Salisbury Plain of England, that I would either go as an instructor to MAU, to our infantry school, or to the Armoured Corps Entrance School in Ahmednagar as an instructor. But I was told to report to the Chief of Army Staff's office, and it was General J. N. Chaudhary who was the chief, and so I became his G2, his deputy MA. You know, in the chief's office, you have a military assistant who was the rank of a full colonel in those days, now a major general, later brigadier, first full colonel, then brigadier, and they had a major as the deputy military assistant. So I was given that job in March 1965. Now the reason for my appointment there is solely, I think, because I belong to 16 Light Cavalry, and the Army Chief J. N. Chaudhary was also belonging to 16 Light Cavalry. He actually belonged to 7th Cavalry up to the rank of major. When he became a lieutenant colonel, he was given command of 16 Light Cavalry in Quetta, and he moved the regiment from there to the Burma campaign of 15 Corps campaign, World War II. The troops had run away after the advance of the Japanese through Burma, and they'd come back to Manipur and Eastern India and Kohima and Nagaland, where they were to be trained again. And Lieutenant General, then later Field Marshal Bill Slim was the commander. He trained these people to re-attack and reconquer Burma, which they did with 16 Cavalry in the lead for that assault against the Japanese. And General J. N. Chaudhary was then Lieutenant Colonel Chaudhary, and he commanded the regiment in war at the head of the 15 Corps, which moved from Manipur to Rangoon and later to Indonesia to reconquer the Japanese. So he was a 16 Cavalry officer, and he wanted, the previous deputy MA was from Central India Horse, who was the brother of General J. N. Chaudhary's wife. So maybe because of that, he'd got a person called Major Timek Lal, who later retired as a brigadier, as his deputy MA, and he finished his tenure of 2.5 or 3 years. In replacement, he thought he'd get an officer from 16 Light Cavalry. They asked the commanding officer to send me a good officer from your regiment to be my deputy MA. I had just come back from England, so he suggested my name, and I landed up on the staff of the Army Chief. When the war started in 65, we all saw it coming 2-3 months earlier. I started agitating to get back to my regiment, which was part of the Armoured Division, 1st Armoured Division, led by Rajinder Singh Sparrow, Major General Rajinder Singh, who was commanding the Armoured Division as a Major General, and my regiment was in his 1st Armoured Brigade. So I wanted to go back. Instead of which, General Chaudhary told me, we won't send you back there because you've just come here, you've done about 3 or 4 months. He had allowed my wife to come to take accommodation in the ADC's cottage behind the Army House. Since his ADC was not married and he didn't require that, it was empty. He said, your wife has you did 2.5 years in Kashmir, non-family station. Your wife has been devoid of accommodation and the chance to live with you for the last 2-3 years. You went to UK, now you come back. You deserve accommodation. I have given you my ADC's cottage. And you've done hardly 3 or 4 months there. It's not fair to send her out of that house now. Yes. So you can't go back to 16 Cavalry. So I said, sir, I wanted to be part of this war that is coming up. He says, all right, I'll send you as my liaison officer to the Western Front, that is the 11th Corps, that is on our western border with Pakistan. And your job is to report to my staff, that is to Gurcharan Sandhu, who was his MA, 4 or 5 times a day. He gave me his jeep, he gave me his cyber operator, and he gave me a wireless set and an operator and the jeep. And I got into this and I went off and reported to Raiya, which is west of the Beas River, to report to the chief of what goes on in Western Command. Now, Western Command was under the command of Lieutenant General Harbakh Singh, who was the army commander, and Joginder Dhillon, Major General, Lieutenant General Joginder Dhillon from the engineers, was commanding 11th Corps. So I saw the battles of 11th Corps. Firstly, the Pakistanis attempted to surprise us by making an attack in southern Punjab, southern Pakistan, the Bhuj area, which is near the Rann of Kutch.
Yes.
Where we had a battalion, and they attacked with a brigade over there. Then they sent large number of raiders, about 400 or 500 of them, into Kashmir. So we came to the conclusion that these are divisive tactics. Pakistan had an armored division, and we were surprised to learn that there was armor also confronting the Jammu border. So I recollect 2 or 3 interesting points. One is that General Chaudhary was trying to find out why there is information of a large number of tanks in Pakistan going from Karachi to Kharia, which is the Jhelum River. You know, the road from Jhelum to Islamabad crosses the Jhelum River in Punjab. Pakistan held Punjab, and it first reaches Kharia, which is a cantonment of the military, where a lot of tanks were collecting. So he wanted to know how so many more tanks are going. And this information was not available with our intelligence. By the way, I must tell you that our intelligence has never given us correct information, either in the 62 war, or for that matter in the 65 war, or for that matter in the 1971 war, and not even in the Kargil war in 1999.
And also
so that's our intelligence. So after we complained in 65 war about the very poor type of intelligence, they created RNAW. Previously only IB was doing this job. But you know how intelligence is. In my view, I may be wrong, they please the Prime Minister, but they don't necessarily give you the correct information, whatever it is. We had no information. Then there was an American reporter who was traveling to Pakistan and to India and all of the ways, writing in the American press as to what's going on. He happened to visit Delhi and he wanted to interview the army chief. General Chaudhary interviewed him and asked a question. Why are so many tanks coming from Karachi to northern Pakistan? He said, oh, the Pakistanis have said, this is what he found out from the army chief in Pakistan, that the army chief has said that their old M47 pattern tanks have got old because of a very large amount of training they have done, and these are replacement tanks for the amount of tanks that have been allotted to them by the American strategic thinking. Question was also raised by General Chaudhary, which I came to know because I was in the office, that why is extra tanks, F-16 aircraft, etc. being given more or less free to the Pakistan army? They are going to be used against us. He said, no, they are going to be used against the Afghan terrorists. So we said that Afghan terrorists may not be controlled by tanks or by aircraft. It will require infantry operations, and they are going to use it against us. But they said, according to the American philosophy, that we are friendly with India, we are also friendly with Pakistan, and it's up to us to whom we give equipment and to whom we don't give equipment. All right. So one thing that happened is that General Chaudhary decided that, the Pakistan were concentrating their first armored division from Multan opposite the southern Punjab sector, that is Rahim Yar Khan and opposite Lahore, facing us. Yeah. So we knew that concentration had taken place, and therefore General Chaudhary thought that the main attack of Pakistan is likely to come in southern Punjab, Khemkaran or Wagah. So he raised a new corps called the 1 Corps under a person called Lieutenant General Pat Dunn, which was raised in Samba. This is on the road between Pathankot and Jammu, to make an attack against Pakistan from northeast to southwest. Now, looking at the terrain and geography of Pakistan, there are 5 rivers in Punjab.
Yes.
According to the Canal Waters Agreement between India and Pakistan in 1955, half the rivers were given to Pakistan and half the rivers were given to India to distribute for agriculture. Pakistan rivers were Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, 3 rivers, and ours was Ravi, Beas and Satluj. Now, all these rivers except perhaps Beas rise in the Kashmir and north of Jammu and Kangra hills and flow to Punjab. So does the Ravi and so does the Beas. But Beas comes from Himachal Pradesh, from Kulu to our side of the border. See? So we had to do a lot of canal dams and things to make canals in India. The treaty favors Pakistan because they have got much more water than we do. But the terrain of Pakistan, if we attack from west to east, is against all these rivers.
Yes.
You have to cross the rivers. If you attack from Jammu southwards or southeastwards, you are going in between the rivers. Yes. So you can make a thrust deep into Pakistan. So he decided 1 Corps to be positioned at Samba to go between the Jhelum and the Ravi into Pakistan, into the salient of Pakistan. There is a border with Jammu in the north and with Punjab in the east, this Chakargarh salient. So the rivers are going from northeast to southwest. He positioned Pat Dunn's corps there with the armored division. They were attacking south from there. So that was the plan. The point to note here is that though Pakistan's main attack came in southern Punjab, that's at Khemkaran, they had got an extra division range which we didn't know, an armored division, at Kharia, because they knew that the threat from Jammu side is very vital for them. So they raised a new armored division, we didn't know. So when Pat Dunn's corps went in, it didn't go very far. It went about 8 or 10 kilometers, maximum I think was 12 kilometers, because the equal force on the opposite side appeared, and we were told in 16 Cavalry and the armored division that there will be no tanks facing you. But in the event, there was a whole tank brigade facing us. So we couldn't thrust very much. We went about 10 or 12 kilometers. People questioned this, that you made a huge attack with an armored division, all you did was go 12 kilometers. Which is not even coming into the base area of Pakistan, right? But the reason is that the force levels that you are using are more or less equal on both sides, and therefore major advance is not possible. We captured a major from the Pakistan army in the Bhuj area, very brave major. He's a Bengali, in Pakistan East Bengal Regiment, and he had done staff college in Pakistan. We knew all his information. He stood first in the staff college, and he did a job as a brigade major of one of their brigades, and then he was in that brigade as he had to join his regiment before the war. He was a company commander in the regiment, and he was asked to make a thrust at Bhuj to try and get the Indian reserves facing southwards while the main attack came in the north. So he was captured because he attempted to cross a minefield which was in front of the Bhuj positions of the battalion in Bhuj. When you want to cross a minefield or test a minefield, you are supposed to penetrate the minefield be the patrol,
Yes.
which with pokers and things tries to find out where the
Plotting,
minefield
yes.
is and decide what sort of minefield this is.
Yes.
So there were some anti-tank mines and anti-personnel mines. But since he was a brave sparrow, he went a little deeper into the minefield than I think he should have done. And a mine exploded under his foot and he fell in the minefield with his foot blown off, howling and moaning inside the middle of the night. And 2 other Jawans with him. So our chaps from that side, we follow certain lines through our own minefield because we mark it with a wire, with a telephone wire. Went into the minefield and saved this man,
Yes.
brought him back, and the 2 Jawans. Since he had lost his foot, he was straightaway sent to the Bhuj military hospital,
Yes.
where he was attended to with a pretty nurse and the medical staff, commanded by a lieutenant colonel.
Yes.
So as soon as he gained consciousness and he saw that they were looking after him, he asked the nurse that I want to see the commanding officer of this hospital. So she asked the CEO of the hospital to go meet this patient. He says, what's the matter with you? I am a Pakistani officer. Why aren't you interrogating me to find out what we are doing?
Yes.
So the commanding officer said, look, your foot is blown off. We have to reoperate your foot to make it the stump fit to get the Jaipur foot, you know, the artificial foot. So we have to cut another 2 inches there, for which we are putting you under operation. Then you get mended first. Once you are physically fit, you can be interrogated.
Yes.
He said, nothing doing. You are not going to touch me until somebody comes and takes my statement. I have a lot of information for you to hear. So they rang up the division, and a major from the intelligence branch of the division behind the Bhuj defences came and said, what's the problem? What do you want to say? He said, this is a minor attack of Pakistan and the major attack is going to come in Punjab, roughly Khemkaran Wagah sector, and there is another show of force in Kashmir with so many infiltrators there, 500 odd infiltrators come into Kashmir. That's all baloney, you concentrate on Punjab for your defense. So the fellow asked him, he said, why are you telling me all this? This officer said that I am a Bengali and my higher ups in the Pakistan army have explained to all of us troops, officers and Jawans, that the Indians are the most nastiest people in the world. Don't ever get caught by them, because if you get caught by them, they will torture you to your death. They will cut you limb by limb, force you to speak and eventually kill you. So the best thing is, if you are going to get caught, is to shoot yourself. But I couldn't shoot myself because I became unconscious. Meanwhile, you are protecting me and you are repairing my body and you are making me fit again. This is totally unexpected. Now that they have told me so much lies, I have realized that it's all lies because the Indians are good people. Therefore, Indians are good people, that means my people are the bad people. So I want to give you the full information. This information came to us in 11 Corps headquarters commanded by Jogi Dhillon. It came to army headquarters and then straight away to us. In fact, we got the complete readout. But that was very thanks that we confirmed, because we already had a very good opinion that this was a false attack in the south and that the main attack will come in Punjab. So this is an interesting point of how the Pakistan government told such lies to its troops.
Yes.
That many of the troops were not happy when they found that they were told so many lies about the enemy,
Quite right.
about the Indian enemy.
Yes.
You see? I realized that. Now, as far as the actual war that took place there, let me tell you about green troops and trained troops.
Yes.
Green troops are those troops, officers and men, who have never seen a shot fired before, or never heard, or never been attacked by artillery fire. Trained people are those who have experienced war, and therefore they are used to the noise and thunder of battle and the attack by artillery. You see? So in 65 war, many of our trained soldiers had retired. Who are the trained soldiers? The ones who fought under the British in Burma and all that, they were all trained soldiers.
Yes.
Some of the officers had become brigadier and generals like Karyappa and
But the rest had retired.
Thorat, you know, I'll name so many. They had fought the Burmese war as brigadiers and now were generals in the Indian army. But as far as the men are concerned, who, you know, the army in those days used to have service of 7 years. After 7 years service, he was sent to reserve. Only a core group would be kept back to become havildars and JCOs and all that sort of thing, you see. So that retirement system was there. So with the result, when the 65 war took place, even those men who had been trained in the 1945 war, or for that matter in the Kashmir war of 1947-48, had retired. So our troops are all green troops. So now the fellows who are facing Pakistan in the 65 war are green troops. We should think of that. Certain amount of battle inoculation was given to them in the way that in training you keep them on the trenches. Army had got a point to the government that please allow battle inoculation, as it is called, so that except 2% casualties. Then you can bring artillery fire directly onto troops who are in trenches and ditches, or fire machine guns directly above their heads. Government would not agree with this. So with the result, battle inoculation was that you got into your trenches with overhead protection, and the artillery fired about 500 or 600 meters away from you, and the machine gun fire was not directly over you but about 1,000 yards on the other side. You heard the noise, but you didn't see the feel of actual noise and battle that you see in war.
That was missing.
Yes. So now in 4th Division, 7th Brigade, if I recollect, was supposed to protect Khemkaran. So the moment the war started, the idea was you close into the Ichugil Canal, which was the defense line of the Pakistanis. Ichugil Canal, the real name is some Bari Canal or something. We called it Ichugil because our maps were very old. It was 1-inch maps. It didn't have this canal marked on it. It's only when some of our people got into the Pakistan territory and captured the map from them that we sent it all round, and with pencils we were trying to copy on our maps the actual map. So the Indian army went to war in 65 without up-to-date maps of the enemy. So Ichugil Canal runs from north to south, and along that is the Hodiara drain of Punjab. You know, Punjab is a flat country. A lot of waterlogging takes place. So the large number of drains to drain this water and put it into the Indus or into the Jhelum or wherever. So the Hodiara drain also runs from north to south in the southern Punjab area, Fazilka for instance, and south of Pakistan there was the canal made in Rajasthan, the Ganganagar sector, the Gang Canal made by Maharaja Gang Singh.
Bikaner.
He paid up to Bikaner, not up to Bikaner but up to Suratgarh. And so the Gang Canal is there. These canals are north to south, and therefore they are obstacles. So 4th Div was told to close into the Ichugil Canal. So these 2 brigades, in fact one north and one south beyond Khemkaran, closed in, and they didn't know, the intelligence never informed us that on the other side of the canal in Pakistan territory, Rawalpindi is a place. There's a concentration of a whole corps of Pakistanis ready to attack. That was the 1st Armoured Division and the 11th Infantry Division, I think it was, plus the whole corps artillery and everything. When our troops came to the forward and their intelligence said that Indians have come forward, they opened heavy medium gun fire. Now in training, when we train our troops for battle, at every position, either for defense or after an attack, you got to dig trenches. And those trenches must be 6 to 8 feet deep, so that you are going under the ground. And then when you get the time, you put overhead protection. But when you are on training, the Jawan will take the digging tools and just make an effort and go 1 foot to 2 foot and say, "Sahab, trench khod diya." Because
they are not adequately
protected. They are not able to appreciate what happens. So these 2 battalions, the forward battalion, dug 6 inches, 8 inches like any training exercise, and now sab ho gaya. Now the officers will take them dig hard. In Punjab, mud is easy to dig. It's not hard, it's not rock, it's mud. It's good clayey mud. When the medium artillery fire took place, those 2 battalions disappeared in a matter of minutes. They ran for their lives. David Sidhu, Armoured Corps, who was a brigadier and commanding that brigade, I personally saw him just north of Kemkaran, standing in the saying, "Roko, roko, halt!" You know, the men running. But when a man has lost his consciousness, he's absolutely frightened.
Yes.
He's no longer a human being. He just wants to run in any particular direction. Eyes wide open, hair all over the place, equipment thrown away, rifle thrown away, running for his life.
Sir.
They overran the brigadier and kept running, and it took us many weeks after the war to round them up from their homes in Haryana and Punjab.
Right.
To battalion. Yes. Nobody trains officers of what happens in war when men run. That's why in the Indian Army, the first lesson that we learned, the officer must be out in front,
Sir.
right in front where the men see him, and even when the artillery fire comes, stand up boldly in advance and say, "Come chap, come with me."
Yes.
Then the men understand that yes, this is our job.
Sir.
Otherwise they go to ground and they will not get up, even for attack.
Sir.
According to infantry, once you cross the start line, there is no halt, you have to go to the objective.
Yes, sir.
But if heavy artillery fire comes, these ships lie down and they tell the officer, "You are a young fellow, you are not even married, you don't have bachas, we have bachas and things, you go, you carry on, we stay here."